Like, yeah, maybe 2.5 Men doesn't look so bad when compared to like that David Spade.
Hello?
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 Hello. Oh, hey, is this Tim and Eric?
Hey.
Hey, Eric Wareheim checking in.
Tim Heidecker stopping in
Hey,
for
guys.
a chat.
Welcome to the radio show tonight. I want to remind you, got to keep it clean. It's a family program.
Yeah.
So
Are we live?
We are live right now.
Hey, Tom, we just want to just explain something really quick. We're kind of double booked with interviews tonight.
The show coming up and everything.
And we got a couple people here that we're going to be, just like an online thing, we're going to be answering some questions from them. We're trying to do this simultaneously.
We're also on our cell, on the speakerphone cell here. We're on a comedians panel that someplace, an Atlanta radio station is doing this. Hold on a sec. Eric, can you handle that question?
Yeah, go ahead. Temple University Film School. We started making funny films together, and we just kind of generated a good working relationship. And
Eric, don't talk right into the phone. Then I can do the interview with Tom.
I know, but I want to just catch what.
Just put the ear up to your phone. You can put the mouthpiece away.
Hold on. Tell me if this is better. And then we started a web.
Tom, can you hear Eric talking? Still?
I could for a second. I can't hear him now.
Okay. Well, he's not talking at all right now.
Okay.
Tom, the network did a really kind of a poor job in just scheduling some of these interviews. I'm really sorry, but I hope we can try to get through this.
Heidecker. Go ahead.
Both from German families, but we didn't really grow up German. It just kind of happened to have both German last names.
Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
That's all right. That actually was going to be one of my questions.
Well, hopefully, sometimes they'll overlap.
Okay. Hey, you guys have a new show.
Hey.
Right?
Brand new
show. It's
called Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job.
And it's on the heels of the...
Sorry, Tom, that was to this person on the phone here.
Oh, okay.
No follow-up. Thank you. Go ahead.
You have a new show on Adult Swim.
Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job.
Yes, and when does that start?
It's this Sunday, 11:45 p.m.
This Sunday, 11:45 p.m. The debut, and this is on the heels of your prior show that you had done for Adult Swim, which was Tom Goes to the Mayor.
TGTTM.
Yes.
It's called around the office.
TGTTM. Now what?
This is actually some information for both you guys. Tom Goes to the Mayor DVD out April 3rd. I don't know if you know that, Tom.
No, I didn't.
April 3rd. It's a 3-disc set. Commentaries on every episode.
Wow.
Working with Gary Busey was funny, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say it would be my top guess. That would be my answer to that question.
Be one of our favorites.
What's that?
I'm sorry, it was the other.
They asked us what our favorite guest was on our old show.
Oh, okay. So you guys, for people who are kind of confused, you're doing more than one interview right now.
That's right.
You have me on one phone, I'm assuming.
Right.
And then you have what? Other phones?
Well, on the other cell phone, we got giggles.biz.
Okay.
It's just a comedy website.
And then WBLH in Atlanta is doing what they call a comedy forum, and there's, I guess, us. Who else is on the panel? David Brenner and
Dane Cook. Just some of the top comics, kind of more.
Oh, Dane Cook.
Who? George Lopez is on the panel.
Oh, wow.
And the guy that creates, Matt Groening, the guy who creates Family Guy.
Well, I think Matt Groening does The Simpsons.
Wow. Can agree to disagree on that one.
Okay, I'll let that one slide. But so the difference between this show, this new Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job, and Tom Goes to the Mayor, is that this show is a largely live action from what I've seen and heard.
Mostly live action. It's going to be their first live action, almost fully live action show on Adult Swim. And is pioneering.
I'm sorry?
It's just a pioneering show.
It's a little bit like Monty Python on acid. That's kind of the answer.
You guys can use that one too. Monty
Python on acid.
Did you just
said that?
Tom, I don't know if we could get into
David Brenner just said something pretty funny. He says, "What do you mean like?" He goes, "What do you mean like Monty Python and acid? I thought they were already on acid." So everybody's cracking up over here.
That's pretty good.
More of like a time period joke because they were back in late '60s
and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a little bit more from David Brenner's era.
Right. Well, but it's a little bit redundant. What he's saying is a little bit redundant to say Monty Python and acid.
Yeah. Now, do you feel a bit of a with David Brenner, who's a Philadelphia guy?
Yeah.
You guys are also Philadelphia guys.
Yeah. Well, when we moved out here, Brenner contacted us early on, just sort of put out the welcome mat, the red carpet, if you will, and said, "Welcome to town. I know what it's like coming from where you're at. What can I do to help?" And everything along the way. I mean, he's just made it so easy for us.
Wow. So that's like is that just sort of like it's like you're an alumnus?
In a sense, actually, when we moved out here, there's a couple. We went to Temple University in Philly, Hootie Ho, and a couple other people. Bob Saget reached out to us, Bill Cosby, when we moved out here. So L.A. is kind of like a melting pot of people from everywhere. No one's really from L.A.
But I'll tell you what David Brenner said to me.
What's that?
And he said he looked me right in the eye and he said, I don't do this for everybody. He made that clear.
That's nice.
It was obvious he checked out the website, he downloaded some clips, and he just kind of connected to our humor. And a lot of that stuff from the internet, that's on our new show. It's kind of he was just kind of really interested in this new style of comedy that he's seeing on our new show.
A lot of the now the show, Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job, which is on this Sunday on Adult Swim.
It's like Monty Python on acid. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
That's all right. You guys, I guess is this more a return to your roots, so to speak, in terms of you're doing shorter?
It's like they took the leash off.
Okay.
They said no more sticking to a story, no more trying to make something that makes sense. Just go out there and have a bunch of fun. Here's a camera. Here's a editing machine.
Tom, this show it's wild. It's like
we're out there to tickle
rules.
you. We're out there to tickle you, and that's all. That's our only goal.
It's a lot like our early internet shorts. It's little short films, comedy bits, prank phone calls. We got, and in the same vein of Tom Goes to the Mayor, we have some nice celebrity guests every episode.
That's what I was wondering. It seems like you guys have a kind of like a hotline to the celebrity community.
The only person you're not going to find in the show is DB, David Brenner. He doesn't do sketch. And I said,
he refused us.
I said, Brent, why don't you get up there and do a tight two? Do 2 minutes of your stand-up. And he says he won't do it because I guess the ownership issues on that.
It's just not a pure form for him. I mean, DB will go up and do an open mic, some small club in LA, but he's not gonna go sketch. It's just something we had to deal with. So we got John C. Reilly for the first episode. We just have to live with that.
Wow. Well, that's I would take that, dare I say, over David Brenner.
Whoa. Well, I don't know about that.
John C. Reilly's great. He's
talented actor, trained actor.
And it's some people think, it's so interesting to see an Oscar-nominated actor in our little show, but we're like, we'd rather get.
If I had my druthers.
You've seen Tourgasm, right? Can you imagine that crew on this show?
Like if you had Jay Davis on the show.
If we now you're talking my language.
Okay. If we could just get that group together and just put them in a room, just let those guys go. That's kind of the direction we're headed, but they weren't available. John C. Reilly was. So
the problem is a lot of these stand-up guys who we kind of worship out here don't do sketch.
Okay.
They just don't do it.
We also had other people more B-level comics like David Cross and Zach Galifianakis in the show, and it's just they're great. Don't get me wrong; they did an okay job.
They're utility men,
not our first choices, really.
Well, who outside of David Brenner would have been?
Well, Mencia,
Carlos Mencia, Jay Leno. I spoke with Jay Leno a month ago. I called him up direct at his office, and I said, Jay, do the show. I said, I know you don't do sketch. And I mean, you do it, you flirt with it on the Tonight Show, but you don't do it in other people's work. I've seen you do drama. I've seen you do comedy. I've seen you do stand-up, do sketch. We sent him 10 different sketches we had in mind for him. He said no on all 10. And we walked away because we don't want to spoil a good relationship there. We do the Tonight Show. We do it a lot, and we don't want to ruin that.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, the hard part is we had a great bit for Jay Leno, and rewriting it for someone like David Cross is tough. It's just he doesn't have the range as what we wrote for Jay Leno. So
sure.
It's okay. You know, the show's great. We're not 100% happy with people like Will Forte and Maria Bamford and those kind of types. You know,
Fred Willard we had to bring in Fred Willard for a scene because Carlos Mencia wasn't available for a bit. So you know, Fred's sort of a go-to guy.
When you're
sort of an understudy.
When Tim and I sit down to write a bit, and we got a book full of Mencia bits, you know, it's easy. They just flow right out of it.
But he does sketch. That's the difference. Mencia is of the mind to do sketch comedy.
Fred Willard's on you know, he does those movies with.
Right.
So he's so it's like Carlos Mencia is like an athlete who's in peak condition.
He's top of the
He's
line.
primed. I mean, he's working right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing season 3 of Mine and Mencia.
Right.
Here.
So we understand he's a little focused in on that.
Sure.
But he's geared up. You know, he'll come in and he'll bang it out, and it'll be hilarious. Unfortunately, we didn't get him.
Yeah.
But Fred Willard, you know, he's all right. He did it. He's okay.
Thank you very much. No, thank you guys. Thank you.
What was
pleasure.
that?
We need anything else? We're done. So Tom, we're done with that other interview.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Just email us if you have any additional questions.
And I want to talk to you later about that. Your idea. Sorry. Go ahead.
See you, Brent.
Whose idea?
David Brenner has a very good idea for a show.
I don't know if you want to mention it on Tom's show, though.
Well, it would be exciting. What is the what is the show? Is this something
It's a period piece. It's a period piece.
It's the late 70s. It's called Fresh, David Brenner. And it's basically
he dabbles in drugs, and you know, he's friends with a couple pimps, and he's just fresh. You know, we're trying to look at the good side of things that happened in the 70s, not focus on drugs and prostitution. It's just David Brenner comes in, he's friends with the pimps and the hoes and all that kind of stuff, and he knows the lingo. I mean, when you hear him do that kind of urban slang, it'll just bring the house down. So it's, you know, it's just kind of like a Robin Hood tale period piece.
Huh.
Paul Reiser to executive produce.
Paul Reiser. You're working with Paul Reiser. Oh, Paul Reiser's working with David Brenner. You're not necessarily working on this David Brenner show, though.
No, it's just no. Brenner was just telling us this idea.
Okay.
Reiser's producing it. Reiser did a show called Reiser and Reiser about 5 years ago, and it was just an interview. I'm sure you've seen that, right?
Now, is he? I did not see that. No.
It was just an interview show. It was just him and just discussing some of his television career and some of his stand-up. And through that, David Brenner, you know, kind of latched onto him. And
what I like about Fresh Brenner is it's David Brenner playing David Brenner. So it's like David Brenner playing a younger David Brenner in the comedy scene in L.A., dealing with drugs, dealing with violence, crime, and he's a comedian. So that's, I think, where Paul Reiser comes in. He comes from that background. He knows how to executive produce. He's already executive produced his own talk show. Why not produce something a little more edgy? That was what he said to me.
He's going to take some of the sensibility of Reiser and Reiser, some of the more like, you know, deep, introspective ideas, and put it in Fresh. Fresh is not just going to be this, you know, this laugh out loud Ace Ventura kind of thing. It's going to have a little heart. I mean, the 70s were
Don't
rough.
knock it, though.
No,
I mean, it's going to be fun.
I'm not
it's
knocking
going to be.
Now, you just so people just tuning in, we got Tim and Eric on the show. Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim, who are the two guys behind Tim and Eric. Yeah, they have a new show that's starting on Adult Swim this Sunday on Adult Swim.
11:45.
11:45 p.m. It's called Tim and Eric. Awesome job,
Oh, he messed it up.
Great show.
Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job.
You're right. I
really screwed
did
it up,
mess
Tom.
it up. I really did.
Listen, I just wanted to make a little mention. If you can go online, go to YouTube, type in Tim and Eric, you know.
Uh-huh.
If you want to get a sneak peek at what this is going to look like.
Okay. So people
Go
can,
to Google, Tim and Eric Awesome Show.
If you want to see some good stand-up comedy, go to YouTube, type in Richard Lewis. They got tons of his sets up there that he filmed for HBO, Comic Relief. If our style of comedy really isn't for you, we recommend, because I don't prefer it, and I would go right to Richard Lewis or David Brenner and just check out their sets. You
actually personally would prefer like a Richard Lewis over your own brand of comedy?
If I had a little more power in this town, you'd tune in our show, you'd get a 10-minute set by Richard Lewis. Next week you'd tune in, 10-minute set by David Brenner. And then they tag team for the rest of the season.
The nice thing about that is every time you tune into the show, you kind of know what you're getting. It's not this big surprise like, oh, I'm going to see some weird bit.
And I guarantee Lewis has got at least an hour of material. You divide that by 10 minutes per show, you've got 2 seasons.
Imagine the production time on that. It's nothing. I mean, you're going to pay Lewis a premium, of course, for some of his backdated material, but you put that in an edit machine, cut it up, you got a whole season. Add that to the footage that we own of Brenner's. We have a huge library, Brent.
I mean, is this something you're actually talking about, or is this just kind of like a little bit of a pipe dream?
No, this is something, we had a little bit more push at the network. And
well, let me put it this way. If this show does well, that's probably what season 2 is going to look like.
It'll pretty much just be like one of those Comedy Central shows from
I wouldn't say that,
ago.
because here's the twist. No audience. So now all of a sudden now you've got Lewis in front, just in a studio room, almost like he's doing a rant, and we cut it. It doesn't feel live.
The beauty is that we can cut and paste any joke we want. It's just a bunch of jokes. There's no bits or
concept stuff to follow through.
Commercial sleuth. There's no storyline. So you're getting about
joke after joke after joke.
You're getting Brenner. You're going to get Lewis. You're going to get Brenner. You know what I'm saying?
But where would you guys fit into that?
EP, executive produce.
Oh, so you would just kind of take a behind-the-scenes approach to
things.
Well,
we would book the studio time. We would negotiate with Richard Lewis's agent, and then we would follow through. We'd make sure the tape gets delivered on time, and we'd do it press for it. We'd come back on your show and promote it.
And but it would still be called Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job.
I think I think that's pretty an obvious answer. Yes.
I mean, Tom, I'm not sure if you.
I'm sorry. That was a little snide.
Why would we change the name of the show?
Oh, because you're not in it.
Well, I mean, that's like saying add a new character, like on Full House or something. When they've added a new character, are they going to change the name of the show Full House?
Well, no.
All we're doing is accentuating what we think works in terms of the show.
So, Tom, something you're probably not familiar with is the term executive producer and what that means. We're crafting this show. We're the captain of it.
In other words, the buck stops here.
Okay.
But we're not going to go change the name of the show just because some aspects of the show changed, you know?
Tom, you get a built-in audience. You already got Adult Swim. A lot of people go there just to watch whatever they have. We got Tom Goes to the Mayor fans who are going to be watching. They're going to see a whole season of Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job. There's no sense in changing the name at that point.
It's branding. It's corporate branding. In other words, we're creating an identity with the name Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job. We reel them in. We can convince X number of young, gullible kids to watch the show. Then, once we got them, once they're in our net, now we've got an audience to highlight what we think is funny, Richard Lewis, David Brenner.
Another, nice thing about this is you set your TiVos to Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job. Season 2, you don't have to even change it.
Well,
you put a season pass. You say, I'm going to record all episodes.
Little dirty secret is you can't stop that from recording. So if you set it up as a season pass, you're kind of locked in.
Now, what would we do with our live tour? We would change the name of that, Tim and Eric Awesome Tour. We're not going to change that. We're going to do that tour as Tim and Eric Awesome Tour.
Now, you guys are actually coming to this area, from what I heard.
Yeah.
When is that?
February 25th through March 6th, East and West Coasts, and South by Southwest.
When are we in New York, Eric?
It's going to be March 26th.
When are we in Philadelphia, Eric?
March 27th. Franklin Institute. If you go on our website, go to the MySpace, myspace.com/timanderic.com. You can see all of our dates. We're going to show a lot of new clips from the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Tim and I do a lot of live bits. If you're lucky, we'll bring some of our Brenner footage along.
Uh-huh.
Maybe still some of his DVDs on the road.
I've got a very rare handy-cam recorded 1992 performance of David Brenner on the Jay Leno Show that I recorded myself on my camera while watching.
Well,
it's pretty good camera work.
Well, you would have no right to that, though.
Oh, we have an exclusive deal with most of Brenner's backlog footage.
And Jay Leno looks the other way on this kind of stuff.
He doesn't mind. He looks at it as kind of like viral marketing.
Oh, okay.
Just getting his stuff out there.
Kind of, yeah. He's really Jay Leno's. I could imagine him being very concerned about trying to make sure that he's kind of he really doing his thing with the YouTube.
Well, he works on two levels. He's got his big show, but comedy, the way things are going on with YouTube and viral marketing, he just wants that footage out there. He doesn't mind if someone takes one of their cameras and records a bit of it.
Incidentally, Tom, if you're interested in bootleg stand-up stuff from TV, it's pretty much what I did in the 90s, was record comics on late-night TV. So if you got anybody in mind, off the air, let me know. I can get you pretty much whoever you want.
Okay, so you have a pretty good library.
Yeah. Eric, wouldn't you say? Pretty extensive.
Phenomenal. I wouldn't say it's good. It's phenomenal.
It's pretty thorough.
Well, I'll think if there's anybody I'm looking for some stuff for.
It's nothing better than going over to Tim's house and grabbing a couple brews and just popping in a couple of VHSs. Just seeing Lewis, just in his heyday.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis on Letterman, 91.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Jenney.
You're not going to see any of that classic comedy on the Awesome Tour.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to come to our show, don't think you're going to get some of the beauty, of traditional stand-up. You're just not going to get it.
You're not going to get it. That's kind of just something reserved for Tim's apartment.
Well, yeah, and the second season of our show.
And in the second season.
Cross our fingers.
Just hoping that everything goes the way that you guys would love it to go. Now with Tim and Eric are on the show right now. Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim, the stars of Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. So you got it right that time, right?
That's right. Good work, Tom.
Their show starts this Sunday on Adult Swim at 11:45. Now you had the program Tom Goes to the Mayor, which was, I guess, in the Adult Swim community, it could be defined as what would you call it? Polarizing?
That's the word that people have used. Yeah,
it's the buzzword, Tom.
Where it was either love it or hate it, and you had all the people kind of bent out of shape over the show, and some people then you had other people who couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think that this new show, Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. How do you think this show will go over with those people?
Well, I think the big-time haters, there's just not much you're going to be able to do with them.
Uh-huh.
That's a loss.
Yeah.
It's an acceptable loss. But I think it's going to bring in a whole new group of people that what might have been put off a little bit by the dryness and quietness and simpleness of Tom Goes to the Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's gonna. I think that we've released some stuff online that's been viewed several 100,000 times by people that might not normally watch Adult Swim, so maybe they'll check it out. There's not. I mean, you're either gonna. If you don't like Eric and I, if you don't think we're funny, then you're not going to like this new show. But I think that number is going to decrease, and the people that do happen to like us, that number is going to increase.
Tom, it's a great show. It's a great show.
We're real proud of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on the phone here pimping it out.
How many episodes?
We've made 10.
10 episodes.
10 in a row.
Episodes starting. There's no breaks. It's just like this new batch of Lost coming out. It's going to run 10 in a row.
Uh-huh. Just heave-ho, 10 in a row.
Yeah.
No stop.
Every week, another one,
It sounds very exciting. And
if you're interested in what we're doing in terms of press, promoting the show, we're going to be on the Tom Green Show tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time.
Really?
Which you can watch online at tomgreen.com. And if you're listening, I can tell you that Eric and I have no idea what we're going to do on that show.
Okay.
No idea.
So when people, when this show ends at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, people can go over to the internet.
Right.
And they can go to what, TomGreen.com?
Yeah, turn your radio off.
Uh-huh.
Turn your computer on.
Yeah.
And go to Tom Green. Tom Green used to have a show on MTV. He's from Canada.
Yeah.
Has a good tea.
And it's quite amazing, actually. He broadcasts his show Monday through Thursdays from his house. So you actually go to his house in Hollywood Hills, and in his living room, he set up a little TV studio. It's quite impressive. We did, and sometimes after his show, there's a Neil Hamburger segment. We were interviewed on that a couple weeks ago. It was a drunken mess.
So you were on with Neil Hamburger on the TomGreen.com.
Yeah, actually, Neil Hamburger is in our 8th episode. Stars in it.
Really?
We're big
if you're
fans.
a fan of Neil Hamburger, this is the show for you.
So pretty much you've got David Cross.
Check.
Zach Galifianakis.
Check.
You've got Neil
Bob
Hamburger.
Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk. Check.
Will Forte.
Check. Right?
John C. Reilly.
John C.
Maria
Reilly.
Bamford. Fred Willard.
Who else? Anybody else? Give me one more name.
Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubens.
Of course.
The ghost of Horatio Sands.
He's not on the thing.
No.
You know, we have quite a few up-and-comers as well. Not necessarily in the comedy world, but just in acting and
Talented men.
we go deep into the Los Angeles casting sites. We've cast a bunch of, I wouldn't say untalented actors, but people that haven't worked very often. A lot of dads.
Fresh faces.
A lot of just like office workers that
We
have
call
a
them
headshot.
the new stars of television because after the premiere, after the 10 shows run, they're going to be stars. Stars as bright as night.
I'm sorry. I just got somebody just sent me a horribly mean email.
Oh, boy.
You guys are polarizing. I'm not even going to give the guy time of day. Not even going to give him time of day. Because I know for every one thing like this, there's 10 bright lights who can't get enough of it.
It's polarizing stuff.
Exactly.
Must mean we're doing something right.
You can't, exactly. You don't want to just get everybody saying, you know what, it's all right. Nobody, I can take it or leave it. You want people to say, I need it. And then the people who don't need it, don't need it. Go somewhere else.
It's like oxygen to some people, and it's like arsenic to other people.
Exactly.
Quote me on that, Tom.
And the other thing I'm going to quote you on?
I just took this quote from Gary Shandling and put it up on my wall. It says, "You cannot get caught up in the result of your work. That's not who you are." Signed, Gary Shandling. No consequences.
I don't even understand that.
Just leave it at the office. Basically, to me, that says leave it at the office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about what people think. Just do what you do.
And you know what you guys do? You guys do a show called Tim and Eric, Awesome Joe.
Wow.
Oh, hold on.
This happened last night on Charlie Rose.
You guys do a show called Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job.
That's it.
And it's going to be on this Sunday,
11:45.
11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right.
You can check it out on Adult Swim, which is on the Cartoon Network.
Right.
First live-action comedy show on the network.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing all right.
Good to hear.
Doing okay.
We're going to catch up later.
Yes. You were going to tell me something exciting.
Off the air.
Off air. Give me a teaser.
It involves a Tercel.
Ooh.
Toyota Tercel. I don't go into details, but I'm leasing a Toyota Tercel.
Sounds like
I'll tell you about it later.
Somebody's growing up.
It's a nice ride, Tom.
Eric's seen it.
It's a nice ride.
Pearl white.
I can't wait to hear more about it. And you know what I also can't wait for? Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job.
Thanks for having us on, Tom.
This Sunday, 11:45 p.m., Adult Swim. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Tim and Eric.
Sure, man.
We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
I appreciate it. And you guys will Be on the Tom Green show tonight over at tomgreen.com.
TomGreen.com. Check it out. We only do internet and radio. Tom-related stuff.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm thrown by the hate. This guy got me. They always get me. One guy always gets me.
It really got to you.
He always gets me. Can't help it. Got 999,999 people happy. This one guy zings me. He's the one who hits me.
You got to stay off the boards, Tom.
Oh, I do. I got off. I have my own chat that I don't go in during the show because it hurt my feelings. What?
I got my own chat that I don't go into.
Oh, okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, that was horrible. That was just, I just got zung on the way out. I got my own chat. You know what? Don't watch their stupid show. That's it. I don't appreciate that. Guys zinging me on the way out. How dare you? Gotta write me. That's an angry email. Half hour of the show. You know, like it's something coming on the next half hour. Guy writes, boring. I've been listening to the best show on WFMU since the best show on WFMU started, and tonight's show is making me wonder if I'm listening to you jump the shark. What? You know what? You wonder that? You're wrong. How dare you say I jumped the shark? Yeah, this guy, thank you, Mike. Associate producer Mike says, you just jumped the shark. Guy's name's Terry. Guy's besmirching a great name. Terry. DJ Terry T. You know what? A woman with the name Terry, that's cool. Guy with the name Terry, it's usually cool. I like listener T. I don't like this guy. He's bringing down the name Terry for men. If my name was Terry and I was a man, I'd be mad. Because this guy's dragging... Listen to yourself. Are my donation dollars... And everybody throws a donation thing in my face. How dare... Like I said, you're better than this. I'm better than this. This is the best show. This is a tentpole show. You gotta tell me you're better than this. You're not good enough for this, Terry. This is the best show. You can't top the best show. You can't stop the best show. It's at the highest level right now. This Stephen Hawking level. It's like Stephen Hawking trying to talk to a 2-year-old. Me talking to this guy. Tell me I'm better than this. You don't know what's going on, son. It's at a high level. You're over at the kids' table on Thanksgiving. Grown-ups are eating at the big table. Go sit at your little card table. Tell me I'm better than this. How dare you.